Hello, ladies and gents, it's Hagbard here in another lovely afternoon with a couple of wonderful videos from two of my favorite YouTubers, A1 Onesian and the wonderful intellect known as Keane. Onisian makes the mistake I've seen many make of believing Meninism is anything but a satire of feminism, and perhaps a method of selling clothing, while the famous Keane has decided to jump onto the feminist bandwagon in a desperate attempt at relevancy. So, without further ado, I bring you the intellectual equivalent of Sherbert, Onisian and Keane, a multiple moron palate cleanser. I'll be doing this without a script because it is the intellectual response they deserve. Shall we?
Meninists versus feminists. Which is better? Meninists is a global organization of men that believe and support the feminist principles of women's political, social, and economic equality. Well, that's
You see, what they've done there is literally just quote what people say is the dictionary definition, only they've said it's men for feminism. It's a joke, Onesian. I know it's hard for people with your IQ to understand jokes, but it's a joke.
confusing because it seems like every other douchebag who wears a Meninist shirt is actually against that principle and is using the campaign to make fun of feminists, like the street
Indeed, that is exactly what they're doing. They're making fun of it.
definition of Meninist exists as a mockery of feminism and proves that we can't request equality without white men making everything about themselves. Hey, Meninists aren't just white men. This guy's not white. This dude's not white. Looks like someone modified his shirt talking about the friend zone. Then there's this dude who's not a dude. Then there's this dude who's not white or a dude. Yeah, so maybe Urban Dictionary maybe stop being racist and see.
Well, at least he has the good graces to be offended at the fact that it is indeed a racist definition to proclaim that everyone speaking out against feminism is white. A very, very large percentage of the people I've talked to are indeed not white. They're just as fed up with this bullshit. They're just not targeted as white males. However, some of them are smart enough to see through it and realized the next phase is just men.
Seemingly assuming white men are the root of all evil, or suggesting that Meninism is just a joke, and of course exists to parody feminism, so that's not very helpful, is it?
It's not supposed to be helpful. It's a joke. It's exactly what you just said, but for some reason you're about to go on as though it were anything but that. It's a gag, and if you're offended by it, that just makes it funnier.
This Twitter has 1.1 million followers. Let's see how not douchey and totally reasonable their tweets are. Ugly
What do you mean reasonable? Jokes don't have to be reasonable.
girls are like prime numbers. Nothing will go into them except themselves. Yeah,
There are a lot of ugly lesbian couples that are lesbians in like high school and college because they're lonely. That's a thing.
it's pretty obvious at this point if you wear a Meninist shirt, you're basically a douchebag. Thank goodness feminists throughout our history fought so hard so this idiot could wear such a disgraceful shirt. This guy
As it were, I agree. Women have fought through history to be allowed self-expression, Onisian.
also seems to be a big fan of oppressing women. If you're against oppression, you probably shouldn't oppress others. Here's what a feminist looks like. Actually looks like a really classy lady. For all of you who for some reason don't yet know what feminism means.
And of course, we have gotten to the point where he has to just say the dictionary definition of feminism to, I don't know, save his career. Didn't he get busted fucking around on his girlfriend recently? I think this is essentially him having to do an apology video after his apology video, which he's already done. But no, I imagine now he has to kowtow to every demand that she makes, and this is probably on that list. He has to come out as a strong supporter of feminism, whatever their demands are now.
It's all about equality and focuses on women because currently women are the oppressed gender.
Are they? Really? Are they the oppressed gender, or is it just that both people have to strive for different things? Everybody doesn't have to have an oppression involved. Why does everybody want to be oppressed?
Here's another feminist. Can we put it right by a Meninist? Which one's better? Gosh, I think I'll go for Hermione.
You actually showed plenty of pictures of attractive females that had Meninist t-shirts on, but I noticed you chose the beglassed bearded gentleman when making that particular equivalency. Interesting choice, and I'm sure you knew you were doing it because you chose the earlier pictures, but whatever. And please just stop taking little fucking pictures that were pre-made off the internet and putting them behind you. That's really fucking lazy. You have like 1 million subscribers. You should do a little better, Onisian.
From Harry Potter over some random douchebag. I like
See, right there, you just showed an attractive female. You could have used that one 2 slides back, but no.
Like every man who doesn't call himself a feminist to explain to the women in his life why he doesn't believe in equality for women. Boom.
Oh, pwn.
Boom. Hate y'all. Hey, look.
Yeah, well done. You see, that's not actually a point, because all the women in my life know that I don't say I'm a feminist because they think it's absurd to require someone have a gatekeeping code just to be considered a good human being. That's stupid. I can believe in equality and not have to take your ridiculous label. And that's what I choose to do. But you want to Borg it up. Well, have fun and good luck with this YouTube girlfriend you have.
Look, it's an idiot. This chick says she doesn't need feminism. Us knowing the definition is centered on women being equal to men. She says she doesn't need it because she's not a victim. Wow, you really get feminism. Next time, moron, before you write on a sign and you post it to the internet, maybe actually try Google. Well, douche.
Well, that's interesting because you have, as I said, over 1 million subscribers, and yet you made this video having done no research whatsoever about the actual behavior of feminists, as far as I can tell, and going instead with the dictionary definition you were likely provided by your girlfriend. It's sad to watch, really, for you to insult someone who made a claim based on the behavior of feminists, and then you make a claim based on what you were told to say. And that's very apparent. This doesn't have any impact with anyone watching it. It just looks like you saying, but definition. But this definition right here doesn't... But definition. Why would you be mad at this definition? Because that definition is meaningless, you dumb twat.
Bad guys watching this, here's the thing about feminism. A lot of you don't understand it because you're probably not a woman who's trying to succeed in life. The challenges for a woman in the working world are more difficult than the challenges for a man.
How's that exactly? How is it that the working world isn't equal when you enter into it? Why is it that women nowadays, young women, are making more in the workforce than men? Couldn't have anything to do with anything going on here, could it?
A lot of the females holding up anti-feminist signs, you really think they're the ambitious type of people? They're very likely the type of people that sit at home and try to get someone else to take care of them constantly. And in that, they rarely feel oppression because they simply don't know what it's like in the real world. So
except all of the women, not some, all of the women I know who proclaim to be anti-feminists are hard-working and usually working-class women. Because they know in the workforce everyone's fucked. Most, however, of the feminists I've seen that are sitting around whinging look to be in exactly the position you just described. You have clearly done zero research for this, Onisian, and you are spouting the company line in an attempt to get the public opinion back on your side after your scandal. It's fucking pitiful.
What is worse, people trying to get equal rights for women, or people obviously making fun of people trying to get equal rights for women?
Women have equal rights. Period. At very least, you should be able to concede that. Unless you can show me one right men have that women don't, aside from, for now, except they're voting on it in Congress, but for now, the right to be drafted.
If the answer isn't clear by now, you're definitely a moron. So maybe the meninist movement is right for you.
Oh, and now we have our beached walrus friend, Brett Keane, facing forward like you would expect a sexy cam girl to be doing before anyone's left her any money. But instead, we have this creature, who appears to be getting fatter as time goes on. It's horrifying, and he's got to make his virtue signal now. Shall we?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brett Keane.
Oh, no. You don't get to do your intro.
Also, check out my brother's YouTube channel.
Oh my God,
He's a rock
forever.
star. Check him out, subscribe. Let him know that he is a beast, a prodigy on the ghetto.
Holy fuck, Brett. I have never seen someone self-promote like this on YouTube before. You're worse than almost anyone else. You're talking... We're fucking 25 seconds in and nothing.
Also, I've got tons of other YouTube channels out there.
Yeah, we know. You put them all in your fucking description. We know, Brett.
Connect with me on Facebook as well as Twitter. If you look in the link in my description, you'll actually find my phone number. You'll find many different ways to get a hold of me. And
you are so fucking cringeworthy desperate, it hurts. I mean, this is clear. Everything you do is just a flailing, desperate attempt for attention. please just fucking do something productive. Hit an actual issue. Don't be like 5 years behind on everything. I mean, even if your views are wrong, at least have the wrong views about something that's occurring now.
As you know, comments are now open as well as ratings, so have fun. Have fun. Okay.
He's talking to his detractors there. He doesn't do well with comments and ratings. He once upon a time did turn them off. And he's finally caved to the criticism, and now he's turned them back on. I'll be sure to link this in his comments section.
So, as you can see in the title of the video, what I do is I go out on the internet, and I am in search of...
Brett, let me explain something. No one goes out on the internet. You may search the internet, but to phrase it as though you partook in any activity, per se, is a bit deceitful, don't you think? I mean, it's clear you don't get a whole lot of fucking activity, man.
Positive atheist. I don't just automatically assume that all atheists are immoral or evil or terrible people.
Well, that's good, Brett, because most atheists are just people. Like most religious people are just people with their own human flaws and issues like anyone else. So of course one would never make the sweeping statement that all atheists are X or all Christians are Y or all Muslims are Z. I judge people on their actions and their ideologies first and foremost.
I am convinced that some of you out there might actually be decent people. I've actually had a couple atheists on my show throughout time that seem like they're pretty cool.
Replace atheist with black people. I mean, he's clearly a bigoted individual. In spite of the fact that I'll talk to anybody, he is just like, nope. No. I mean, I've met some, but mostly when I have hangouts, I try and police them out because they don't agree with me, and they won't. It's just I won't have it. I mean, really, Brett, you're one of the most sad people I've ever seen on the internet, and that's just saying something. I mean, you have achieved Pacific levels of delusion and self-aggrandization. It's phenomenal.
So I've come to the conclusion that 98% of atheists, at least on the internet, social media, and what I have interacted with are absolute garbage, but there is a 2% that is really cool, awesome, that I'd probably invite to my home to have barbecue and probably do some gameplay videos with, right?
He phrases this as though even 2% of the atheist community would want to do any of those things with him.
Perhaps even rock and roll with.
Especially that nobody wants to rock and roll with you, Brett.
Oh yeah, because some of you I dig. 2% of you. Yes, I do. It's true. And one of the people that I have a good deal of respect for is Rebecca Watson.
What? You have respect for Rebecca Watson? Well, then you clearly haven't been paying attention or keeping up. Oh, I see what you're doing. You're reaching a hand out to Rebecca Watson and saying, I will be friends with you. I am desperate for a community to form around me, and I would like a pet atheist. Please be my pet atheist now that most of the atheist community has utterly ostracized you. Brett, I don't think even Rebecca's desperate enough to join with you, sir. I think you're pretty much fucked on this lick, but go on.
I've watched probably about 25 to 30 of her videos now.
Yikes. I bet you did, Brett. You lonely bastard. I bet you did.
And I've noticed that she is somebody who gets treated very badly in the atheist community. It seems like she's doing better. Seems like people are being a little bit more respectful.
No, what's happening is she's roundly being ignored. There's a bit of a difference there. Most people are ignoring her. However, you're not, because you're desperately searching for other outcasts to form a side group with, but whatever.
But if you just simply go like 10 videos back from her last one she made and read the comments, People threaten to rape her. They threaten to want to kill her. And I watch these.
No, saying I hope you're raped and saying I hope you're killed aren't threatening either one of those things. It's petulant outrage, but it is outrage and it's a form of expression. I don't particularly think it's constructive, and frankly I think it gives almost anyone you do that to in today's day and age simply ammunition to wing back at you. But if that's how you want to do it, man, do it. I mean, I think it's silly, but go ahead.
Videos, and I'm thinking, why are they so fucking pissed off at her for? Why do they want to hate on her like that? She's probably one of the most calm, relaxed atheists I've ever seen in video. Usually when I go and I watch some atheists, the atheist is jumping around in the fucking video, or they've got their shirt off and they're squeezing their titties and talking about fucking blueberry muffins and all kinds of stupid shit.
Oh, so you're only familiar with The Amazing Atheist and maybe one other atheist YouTuber. Okay, well, I'm a fairly calm individual. I know that's kind of your thing, but I think it's funny, so yeah. Anyhow, you have to understand that the reason she is unpopular is because she is obsessed with gender politics and obsessed with saying that atheism needs to include gender politics. Basically, she showed up and she realized, okay, if I use the gender politics angle, people have to listen to me and respect my point of view in spite of the fact that I am saying fuck all new. And nobody wanted to hear it. She tried to insert herself into a community and essentially failed. And now what you're seeing is she has a remnant of followers that she's detached from that community to take along with her, which is fine, and please, go with them. It has nothing to do with the atheist community, which predominantly has been interested in the expansion of humanist traditions, sciences, those sorts of things, not about the obsessions with spirituality and gender politics, which is bordering on a spiritual belief at this point.
You can always expect that when you watch most atheist videos out there, you're going to hear them say, fuck her, religious people are, you know, the usual just fucking ooze of redundant fucking diarrhea, constantly just pure mac and cheese, you know what I mean? Oh,
Diarrhea and mac and cheese are equivalent to you. That's frightening, but not surprising. I bet that was a subconscious pairing. You look like a dude with a lot of mac and cheese and a lot of diarrhea. But aside from that, nobody here on atheist channels I've seen is constantly saying fuck her and fuck, you know, that, or burr, and fucking fuck religious people. Most atheists don't traditionally even bother talking to or about religious people as much as possible anymore. It's become dull. It's become dull to address your average religious person. Most atheists are content to address when religion affects policy, procedure, law, things that can actually have a direct impact on them or society as a whole. That's where most atheists nowadays focus, on larger scale sociological issues. However, the insertion of religion into society and arguing against that or parodying that or mocking that, and the concept of some vague ideas of personalized gender studies are not related. And that is why she was removed from the community, Brett. That's why people have started ignoring her or mocking her.
oh, darn. You know, horrible. But I watch her, and she's like this calm, civilized, sophisticated, articulate, intelligent person who shares her position and views on feminism. I'm not
Are you sure you weren't watching Christina Hoff Sommers? That sounds like her to me.
a feminist. I'm an egalitarian, which means that I support the rights of women and men.
Well, little does Brett know that if any of the hardcore feminists saw that, they would see this as a cop-out. They would see him as not supporting their movement and instead supporting the evil lies of egalitarianism. You see, he doesn't even know what he's talking about, any more than Onisian knew what he was talking about. Onisian's a much bigger YouTuber and actually should have been able to figure out that if he was if he wasn't forced to do it by the situation he's in, that he should have just kept his fucking nose out of the dumb shit. And Brett Keane here is clearly just desperate for some attention, so I'm giving it to him because I'm a softie like that.
She seems like she pretty much does the same damn thing, but she holds a position and calls herself feminist. I don't know why most people out there don't just call themselves egalitarian. Any sensible fucking human being out there would support the rights of all human beings. I don't just support women and men and all that, but I support people of color, I support people of gender, and I even support young people out there.
Okay, he was making sense until this, and this is where he gets creepy, in my personal opinion. I think we should be hesitant to start discussing the agency of children in today's atmosphere. And Brett Keane, laying in your bed talking about children's agency, just know, man.
A lot of people have this idea that if you're a child, you shouldn't really have any rights. You're pretty much a fucking slave or possession to your parents, nothing more than a carbon copy who doesn't even have the right to have any ability to think for yourself and make choices. Well, I don't.
Brett, most people don't feel that way. However, most parents are smart enough to know that they are held personally responsible by the state for the condition and the raising of that child. And they can be charged with criminal neglect, abuse, etc., if they fail in these tasks. This could perhaps, just perhaps, explain some of this protective and guarded behavior. Brett.
I don't agree with that. I think that you all deserve rights and choices. Well, she says her piece, and because of seeing all those videos out there of people hating on her ass, including Thunderfoot.
See, this is where we see where the inspiration comes in. His real reason for making this video is, like I said, he's trying to reach a hand out to her and see if she'll talk to him and kind of give him some attention here. Because he's been marginalized and sidelined in the whole YouTube community. So anyone who he sees being attacked by certain people, he assumes the enemy of my enemy is my friend. But I have a funny feeling that, like I said, even Rebecca Watson won't play his game.
Because of seeing all these websites, because not only do I try to look for positive atheists, but I also go in search of what's the latest drama? What are atheists doing to each other? You can always expect that every day some atheist has figured out some reason why they need to nail on another one. And I find these things interesting. For me, it's almost like a social experiment. I feel like a scientist in a lab. And
well, that's kind of how I feel watching your videos, Brett. And what's interesting is that your analysis is so shallow that it can be applied to almost anything. And we'll see that here in a second. But before we go on, I'd just like to say I see very little actual infighting in the YouTube atheist community. Mostly we just sit around and talk shit with each other. Mostly it's a friendly and kind of buoyant environment. We're kind of just a playful and rambunctious bunch as far as I can tell. I mean, there have been times where there have been problems. There was the AIU thing. There was the Jacqueline Glenn issue. But Jacqueline Glenn was cleaning house. She's a plagiarist. She's a known plagiarist at this point. And I know that in the religious community there is nothing but plagiarism because you're all just saying stuff from the same book. But in the atheist community we try and rely on like novel thought as much as humanly possible and minimize regurgitative behavior. But I know that would confuse you. But let's see what your little analogy here is.
I got these two little guinea pigs sitting there. And they're
This religious text can only be read by the priests. I believe that religious text can be read by the layman and understood just as well if it were translated from Latin. He's literally describing schisms, but he doesn't understand that because he probably has the narrowest view and understanding of history, especially religious history in the world.
And you see the likes and the dislikes fluctuating, and people are...
Unlike yours, which are mostly dislikes.
Are fans of this guy and fans of this lady, and they're fucking taking turns hating each other and killing each other's channel.
He's literally talking about a very small subset. I mean, most people don't engage in YouTube drama. I myself don't, and I mean, if he were to make a bitchy video in response, I frankly wouldn't bother to respond. I'm doing this because I'm bored on a Saturday right before I leave my house. So, yeah.
And more people jump into it, and they take this little bitty fucking thing. It could be an argument over, are caterpillars cute? And somehow turn into, you're a fucking Nazi if you believe in caterpillars are cute.
He says with absolutely no understanding that people have been killed for quote-unquote misinterpreting verses of holy texts. On a regular basis, even today, religious people do this. But of course only atheists arguing on YouTube is a big deal, right?
And they just take the littlest fucking thing and just turn it into a big ball of fucking yarn poop.
Called the Middle East, or... Oh, wait, no, we're talking about something else.
Just... It's what they do.
It is indeed what religious people do. I mean, we yell at each other on YouTube. Religious people have been killing each other for hundreds of years over their differences of subtle belief.
Something tells me that's what happened to Rebecca Watson. She seems like one of these type of people that are real confident and sure of herself.
Well, yeah, she is, and there's no problem with that.
I like people who are confident.
No, you like people that will confidently agree with you. You don't like people that confidently disagree with you. You call them names. I've seen it. Hell, we've all seen it, Brett.
I like people who sound like they know what the fuck they're talking about.
Well, then Rebecca Watson is not your girl.
So many people out on the internet where they just talk, but they ain't got no destination. There's no plot to the fucking story. And the ending isn't really satisfactory for my mental stimulation purposes.
Brett, you have just described every video you have ever made and every hangout you have ever been in. Jesus, you have no self-awareness.
It is what it is. So, can you guys explain to me why it is that people are so mean to this woman for? Why? I've already heard about the bullshit elevator thing and all that I can't see a reason why it's okay to justify threatening her and wanting to hurt her or cause problems or making all these fucking videos talking shit about her.
Because she slandered an entire community, sir, and the community backlashed. That's what happens. That's what happens every time one of these people dip their toe in a community and then claim, I got offended at something. This is a woman who was crying because a man propositioned her for coffee in an elevator. A completely normal thing to do. It's not like then he pressured her or pushed her against the wall and kissed her. Nothing happened. He propositioned her for coffee at the end of a night of drinking with a group of friends. That's completely normal. And then she slandered the entire atheist community and said it was full of misogyny and hatred of women and yada yada yada. And then basically she got what the fuck she asked for. Just like anyone else who said some dumb shit publicly with internet access would have happened to them.
There's quite a few different people like that I like, and I don't understand why they get done like that. But this video is primarily to Rebecca. We'll talk about the other ones later. Can you guys give me a reason? Why does she get treated like shit? And if you don't know who she is, and
well, I just described it and I do know who she is, but go on.
You don't dislike her, but you don't know where she's at, her YouTube channel is Rebecca Watson. Subscribe to her, like her videos up, and do me a favor.
Brett, are you hitting on this girl over YouTube videos? It's pretty creepy. It really is. This whole video was pretty weird, dude. You're like kind of sucking up to Rebecca Watson. It's unusual, Brett.
Tell her there are men out there that give a shit and respect women.
Fuck. Oh, fuck.
Tell her that I sent you. And I hope that you subscribe to her and let her know everything's cool, that there are decent people out there. She's
Tell her that I sent you. Tell her that I care.
not alone. Peace. God bless.
Oh, that was utterly fucking cringeworthy, Brett. Why? Alright, guys, that's it for me. That was my palate cleanser. I feel much better now after a week of fucking race-based issues that were uncomfortable as fuck for everybody. Anyway, I would like to thank all of my new subscribers. Welcome aboard, glad to have you, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and there are more to come. I will see everybody on Monday. Goodbye.